Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sam, and I'm joined by my colleagues Lakshya and Siva. And we're really excited to introduce you to Video University, which is hyper-personalized learning at the speed of AI. And we recognize that it's really hard to keep up with the pace of changes today. That's probably part of the reason why the online learning market is expected to grow to approximately 280 million by the year 2030, and why teachers can spend up to 7 hours a week looking for new and fresh content to supplement their courses. And so this is really what prompted us to develop Video University as this nagging question that we were left with, which is, how can yesterday's course prepare you for tomorrow's innovation? And unless it's the AI Engineering Bootcamp, shout out to AI Makerspace, it probably can't. And why is that? It's because there's a fundamental disconnect between the timeline for your most pressing learning needs and the timeline for most online course development. It could be weeks, months for online courses created by individual creators. And if you're in the corporate world with directly B2B course development models, it can take months, even a year or more to develop a course. And that's not the pace at which we need to learn, given how much industry is changing these days. But you might be thinking, well, what about YouTube? It's fresh, really, really timely content. It's free, which is a great price. I love the price of free. But it can sometimes be where learning plays chicken with doom scrolling. It can feel like you have an endless cycle of searching, guided by an algorithm that just wants you to watch more. So enter Video University. Video University provides guided learning where it takes your desire to learn and translates it into learning objectives using best practices in instructional design. It harvests content that's the best of YouTube tied to your learning goals. It's quick and easy. It gives you a short curriculum with custom-built modules and a really practical focus where it suggests activities and self-assessments to promote immediate application. And now I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Siva, tell you a little bit more about who we think will love Video University.
Hello, everyone. So the target audience for Video University is basically the curious among us. So those who desire fresh, structured, accurate video content to enrich your learning journey. I mean, if you are an independent learner or a student who wants to learn up to date on your latest course, Video University is for you. So if you're an awesome educator who wants to keep up with the trends in planning your curriculum, then Video University is for you. If you're in a corporate setting and you've just taken a very curated course, but still want to learn the latest on the subject, Video University is for you. So let's move on to the demo to see how it actually functions. So we've used Vercel to host our Next.js frontend, and we're going to use Video University to learn about Vercel. And while it's loading, I'm going to go through the steps it's taking at the moment to get you the best lesson plan that you can have. So it takes the user's query, and by using the best practices in instructional design in our prompting, we build the learning objectives. And based on the learning objectives, we rewrite the query using an LLM here. And then followed by that, we use this to search the YouTube API. So based on the return results, we fetch their transcripts, and then the transcripts are fed back to the LLM to use a better prompt to generate the final lesson plan. So when the lesson plan shows up, it's going to order as you can see on the right, it's going to order in a coherent manner, and it's going to point you to the exact points in the video where you can understand your objectives. As you can see here, there are two videos for the first lesson, and then it shows you exactly the 2 minutes in the first video, and then the 2 minutes from 18 to 20 in the same video. It also adds additional things that the learner can do, like the steps on what to do as part of this lesson, and also the suggested activities to assess your learning as part of your this particular lesson. And moving on, I'll give it over to Lakshya to go over the technical stack that's involved here.
Yeah, thank you, Siva. Great demo. In terms of the technical walkthrough, we tried to replicate the A16Z emerging app stack image over here. And in terms of what the app is doing, we take the user's query, it passes into the front end. From there, it passes into the orchestration engine. In the orchestration engine, as Siva mentioned, we first generate some learning objectives, which is what does the user need to fulfill when they enter that query. Based off of that, we rewrite that query to make it more optimized for YouTube. Then we query the YouTube API. We get a set of, I think, 15 or 20 videos for that rewritten optimized search query. And we save that as metadata to our agent state. The next step then fetches those transcripts from the YouTube API again. We filter out all the transcripts that are not available or not in English for now, but this can be expanded later on. We take those transcripts, we feed them to an embedding model, and we prepare a vector database that lives in memory. And this vector database, again, is saved to the agent state. And finally, we send it all to the final LLM that uses multi-query retrieval. So for the same user's query, but with now the additional learning objectives, we generate 3 additional queries. We run RAG over the vector database that we just created. And we take all of that, we package it together, and we send it to the final LLM to generate the learning objectives, the learning plan, sorry. And all of this happens in a very structured fashion because we use tool calling at every step. And that way we are able to show everything on the front end in a deterministic manner. So we know that the lesson plan that's returned is going to have these keys and these values. And we use Langsmith to trace everything so that we have extreme visibility into what each step is doing. I think we can move to the next slide. So in terms of what's next, we understand that this is a very early prototype stage, and we tried it out multiple times ourselves. And for some queries, it just doesn't perform well, and that's because it's not as robust as it can be. In terms of next steps, we can definitely add additional metadata as to the popularity or the like to dislike ratio or number of comments to determine whether a video is actually popular or if it's just recent. One more thing that we can add is an action to create a personal playlist in your account. So you search your query and you get your lesson plan and you save it to your account so that you can access it later on. We could also extend it to other platforms and not just restrict ourselves to YouTube. We can do multi-language support, as well as what's going to be more important is instead of relying on existing transcripts, we feed the video or its audio to be specific through Whisper or some other speech to text model, and we generate transcripts on the fly. This might increase time a little bit, but it's gonna be the increase in accuracy is going to be even better. So these are just a few of the next steps that we can take. And yeah, I think that's pretty much our presentation. We had a few appendix slides as well that talk about that show the actual Langsmith trace. So we can go into that if we need to. But yeah, thank you so much.